No justice! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Black Lives Matter! Start sharing the stories because I feel like everyone who wants to have a chance to talk about their experiences can go. So I think I'll start with mine. I prepared a speech, but I decided to just speak from my heart and not from something that I wrote in the middle of the night. So, okay, where do I say? The first time that I feel like I experienced racism was in 3rd grade. I had box braids, the long hair that you guys sometimes see me with. I was wearing them, and this white girl, her name was Vicky, and she was like, "Oh my goodness, how did you get your hair like that?" And then I was like, "My mom did it for me." And she's like, "Oh, all the black people I've seen have ghetto hair." And I didn't know what she meant at the time, but when I went home, my mom told me that I had to take off the hair, and I cried and I begged her not to take it off because I didn't want to have ghetto hair. I never told her about what Vicky said because I didn't feel like there was any point of saying that, but I know that it's not just me that feels like that. I'm not the only black girl or black guy that feels ashamed of their hair. And it goes deeper than just your hair. We can't help, what we're born with, what's in our genetics.
It's amazing. I did not think all you guys were going to show up. And I'm so glad we can all come together as a community and make our voices heard. As you all know, we're here to take a stand against police brutality and systemic racism. And most recently, the outrage has been over the tragic murder of George Floyd. But his case truly doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of this issue. And truly, we cannot trace back the origins of this issue as it can be traced back to the origins of the police force. Slave patrols and night watches, which date back to the 1700s and later became the modern police forces we know today and trust to serve and protect, were both designed to control the behaviors of minorities. This is why we ask for reform and change, as these issues are deeply rooted in the system. So far, we have seen positive changes that I am very glad to see, as the Minneapolis City Council voted to ban the use of chokeholds by law enforcement one day after George Floyd's memorial. The remaining 3 officers have been arrested in connection with Floyd's murder, and former officer Derek Chauvin's former 3rd-degree murder charge against Floyd was raised to the 2nd degree. I'm happy to see these changes in the past few weeks, because in the past few weeks of disruption, we've seen changes that have been fought for decades. Again, I'm happy to see these changes, but there are still so many victims who have not seen the same justice. 26-year-old Breonna Taylor, an EMT, murdered at the Louisville Metro Police Department, forced entry into her apartment, looking for suspects that were already in custody. 38-year-old Tony McDade, a transgender man misgendered by police who failed to identify themselves, called him a racial slur and kept shooting after he stopped moving. 12-year-old Tamir Rice, who had dreams of playing in the NBA, carrying a replica toy airsoft gun, was shot by law enforcement within 2 seconds of them arriving to the scene. 7-year-old Aiyana Jones, shot and killed during a raid conducted by the Detroit Police Department, who were at the wrong house, and so many more. All innocent lives taken way too soon for all the wrong reasons. How can mistakes like this, deliberate or not, keep happening? How many families have to bury their sons, mothers, fathers, brothers, and sisters until the perpetrators stop getting away with it and we get the reform we want? What other profession do you know that allows room for this many insane tragedies? As a result, we've seen protests and unrest across all 50 states and even overseas, all calling for the same change. Ask for you only to not be vocal, but sign petitions, donate if you can, contact your elected leaders and tell them that Black lives do matter. And when you leave here today, wake up tomorrow and further on, I want you to remember their names and still be fighting for the same cause that brought you here today. Thank you.
Definitely not in school. And I just want to say that racism isn't just verbal or physical attacks towards someone because of the color of their skin or their ethnicity. It's also subtle questions that you shouldn't make in the first place. So this is kind of just a personal story that just happened the other day to me. I was on my front lawn when a white salesman approached me at my house. I was reading on my lawn, enjoying my day. He said, "Excuse me, are you the homeowner?" I said, "No." He said, "Oh, sorry, I couldn't tell. You Asians all look so young." Silently, I ignored him so I could go on with my day. I said, "I'll go get my mom." He said, I'm sure she looks just as young as you do. I said, she's white. He said, oh, then I guess she won't look like you. So I don't believe that he was intentionally trying to be rude, because oftentimes that's what racism can look like. You're not trying to intentionally make someone uncomfortable. However, these are unsolicited and unnecessary comments that this man will not think twice about after he left my yard. But I did, and I will never forget what he said. So I say this to say, think before you speak, or even better, just don't say it. Especially when you're a stranger and it concerns someone's race or ethnicity. You may think it's harmless, even a complimentary or friendly, like telling someone they look young. But it's ignorant and offensive. I don't comment on other people's whiteness, so please don't comment on my Asianness. And also, just to go on that, when people of color check you, or check your privilege, or make a comment, I speak from my own personal experience, and only my own personal experience, when I say, we say it because we care. Because you're going to make mistakes. I make mistakes. These are difficult conversations to navigate, and it's hard and uncomfortable, but that just means we have to make more of an effort and try harder. So when we tell you, don't say that, or maybe think about it in another way. We say it because we care, because we don't want you to go out in the world and continue to make those same mistakes, so you ruin someone else's day. So thank you, and thank you all for showing up.